Once again, you already know what it is, and you already know where you have reached the number one collaborative podcast in professional wrestling anywhere in the world. My brother, my partner, my tag team partner, Conrad Cushman's in the building representing everything pro wrestling. Your big homie, Sean Hubbard of Hubbard Wrestling Weekly is in the building. We're about to break down some NWA pay-per-view, the road to WrestleMania. Where do we go with Cody Rhodes? Where do we go with Sami Zayn? Where do we go with Jey Uso? We're going to pay homage and respect to one of our loved ones that have been lost in the world of professional wrestling. We're going to do all that right after the intro. Drop that thing, bro.
What up, everybody? Welcome to Clash of the Podcast, episode 23, the Jordan edition. I like to call this one when I was putting together the stuff for it. We got ourselves a good show for you guys. Lots to talk about, diverse topics today. We're going to get into what Sean had mentioned, and Sean, all him for the topics today, so give him his props if you like these. We're going to talk about the road to WrestleMania. And we are also going to talk about NWA Nuff said, and we're going to also have a topic about fans that relates back to the road to WrestleMania stuff. So make sure you guys keep it locked. We're going to have a good preview for you guys for Nuff said. You guys can get that live on Fight TV. That's going to be happening February 11th, 2023. There is someone's homie, Tyrus, on the cover here. But the card does look overall interesting. And I'm trying to see, can NWA make the turnaround for this? We shall see. But I do want to pay a little bit of respect to a legend in the game, and that is Lanny Poffo, the genius, as some may know him as, Macho Man Randy Savage's brother as well. Shout out to Lanny Poffo, man. I don't know, man. It's sad when your wrestling heroes are gone. And Lanny Poffo just unexpectedly, he is someone who we've seen over the years. And I don't know if many people know this, but if it wasn't for Lanny Poffo, he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Lanny made that decision. Macho Man said, if my family does not get into this Hall of Fame together, my father, my brother, and me, I ain't going in no Hall of Fame. And that was his rules. But Lanny said the fans have been deprived of him for so long that they deserved to have him in the Hall of Fame.
That's a fact, man. You know, one thing about me is I'm a historian, as you are, and you know, it's such a sad thing, like you said, when we lose our wrestling heroes and things of that nature. Leaping Lanny Poffo, he was one of the guys who actually spearheaded the road to WrestleMania back in 1987. Andre the Giant, he actually was humble enough and cool enough to allow himself to be the guy that Andre the Giant destroyed in an over the top rope battle royal that Andre eliminated Hogan in and set the stage for WrestleMania 3. You know what I'm saying? And Lanny Poffo was bloodied up and carried out on a stretcher. And he talked about how he unfortunately was not on the WrestleMania 3 card, which I think is a travesty, but that's another story for another day. As Conrad pointed out, very, very instrumental in having Macho Man into the Hall of Fame, as well as the fact of being the manager of Mr. Perfect in the early 90s and, you know, being very talented and, you know, obviously talked so well of his brother, Macho Man Randy Savage. Macho Man got him a job in WWE. He wasn't shy. Leaping Lanny was not shy about talking about that, about how Macho got him in the door. And he had a pretty darn good career. So much respect and rest in power to Leaping Lanny Poffo. Up with his brother in heaven, man. It's a shame how things go, but, you know, gone very soon. He was a relatively young man, and no longer with us. So we pay respect on today.
Yes, many will probably remember his time as the Genius. I don't know if people know this, but the Genius, one of his favorite feuds and probably the most money he ever made in his life, came from someone who we're not too fond of these days on the podcast, but brother. He helped make him a lot of money, and the Genius actually has a victory over Hulk Hogan by countout, and I will take any time to remind Hulk Hogan of a loss. He put over the Genius by countout And he didn't do that for many. Usually it was the leg drop and we're taking it home, brother, and go get the checks. So I always thought that was really cool too, though, that he got to work with Hogan a little bit.
Yeah, he won. He beat him. As you said, he has a victory over Hogan, and that was on national television, so that was pretty cool.
Yes. Let me give some shout outs in the chat real quick here. Derek joining us saying, what up, what up? BJ coming in. Now you got to make me sing again. Adrenaline in my soul. Something, something, Cody Rhodes. We'll get into some of that as well. Your boy.
M. Leezy, what up? What up, kid? Good to have you always, my brother.
Matt Lopez. Cody came back to save the day to be the next Cena. Just roll with it, man. I think that was in response to Derek's comment. D letting us know he's watching from wherever he is.
Derek,
Appreciate
God bless you, my brother. Always a pleasure, my guy.
I hope you're feeling better, bro.
Yes.
I see Rob Zombie slander going on in the chat. Wouldn't be a chat without Rob Zombie getting disrespected. Ninja Boy, what's good? Appreciate you. B-Boy Skyline in the house. Cody Rhodes is a hero. Y'all better cut it out with that right now. Joel says, my two good friends, one of the main reasons I look forward to Mondays. Joel, we appreciate you, good sir.
Jay, my guy, appreciate you, bro.
Let's see here. Hope you're doing okay, Sean. I hope all is well with Conrad with the earthquake. You know what? I slept through the earthquake. I'm going to be honest with you. I was knocked. So I woke up and I was like, I think my mom called me. I was like, what? She was like, you were asleep? Yeah. Oh, go back to bed. I was like, all right. Damon McKinney in the house. What's good, Damon? He said, yo, I'm here to talk wrestling and say I've been seeing pics of the Jericho Cruise and I think I want to go.
Nice.
I heard the weather was rough for it. I don't know. Did you hear the same?
I did.
Yeah, I see. That's the stuff that would make me tight, but you can't get your money back once you're on that cruise.
That's a fact.
Knock it off, BJ. RIP to the genius. Oh, yep. See, Matt knew. Leaping Lanny. Yes.
Right.
I'm going to read some of these real quick. Didn't know much of Lanny when it came to in-ring. All I saw of him in the last decade made me appreciate him and think he was a pretty cool guy in the wrestling world. You know, another cool thing about him, I'm going to drop facts about Lanny Poffo. Did you know he had a WCW contract?
Really?
Hold on. So I want people to remember this when you're like, man, why does Conrad stick up for CM Punk? When Eric Bischoff spews the stuff that he spews, this man wanted Macho Man so bad that he was like, I'll pay your brother for 4 years and he'll never wrestle again.
Wow.
So remember Gorgeous George in WCW?
Yes.
Macho Man bought the rights to that gimmick. And do you know why? Macho Man's father was going to quit until a guy named Gorgeous George told him, don't give up. You're really good, kid. Wow. And then his father ended up making it. So I think there's a sentimental thing there with his father. Family is the most important thing to the Poffos. And when you look at it and the setup to everything else, Gorgeous George was going to be the genius in WCW, but it never happened. So he ended up using it on his girlfriend at the time, who was Gorgeous George. So a little fact for you guys: if you're ever on Wrestling Jeopardy, you never know when you might be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You remember who told you this? Let me see. I remember that Battle Royal. Andre headbutted Lanny and split him wide open.
Yes, sir, McKinney. Yes, sir.
Moolah Gang, what is going on, Moolah Gang?
What up, though?
Appreciate you. D said, I'm back in full effect. I'm glad you're well. See, he said, I knew Macho got his brother a contract to stay at home. Appreciate it. Ragged, I see your comment. Get with me in the DM, good sir. In the description below, you can either get with myself or Sean here, and we'll talk to you about that. This is business time right now.
Yeah.
So, Sean, kick it off, man. Start off the topic, man. This was your idea. This road to WrestleMania.
So, for me, man, it's just there's so much stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling. I thought it was apropos to discuss some things as far as the road to WrestleMania, man. And honestly, I'm just really disappointed with certain things. It's kind of like a half AEW, half WWE kind of situation. Let's start with Bray Wyatt. For the love of all that is righteous and holy,
Run.
They are ruining this character. They are ruining this character. The payoff for Uncle Howdy should have happened a long time ago. I am now bored. It is the ultimate in taking too long to give a payoff. This is not like a 9-month Sami Zayn, Usos, Roman Reigns situation. We are just waiting to find out who the hell Uncle Howdy is, and we are tired of waiting. We are tired of waiting. It is getting stale. It is getting boring. This talented, amazing competitor by the name of Bray Wyatt is starting to become watered down and annoying because of the fact that WWE refuses to pull the trigger, to use Roman Reigns' line from Royal Rumble. Pull the trigger! Pull the trigger! Solo! But in this case, for the love of God, Uncle Howdy! Pull the trigger. I'm so sick of waiting. I'm so sick of waiting. It's getting boring. It's getting stupid. It's getting to the point where I no longer care. And I'm starting to fall asleep. Give me a payoff, for God's sake. What do you say, Conrad?
I'm trying to be patient because I have some follow-up to this as well when it comes to how this is all going to be set up, played out. I'm going to try to save my fan comment for after. So with Bray Wyatt, right now I'll go with my feelings. I kind of feel similar. Where are we going with this? And to me, I'm trying to give this until WrestleMania. We talk about long-term storytelling in pro wrestling. Does this have meaning? But I question what Rob always says about this. He said that we were going to finally find out, was Bray Wyatt the problem or was it Vince McMahon? Makes you wonder now,
right?
Because now you're seeing what he produces in all of this. And we've got a bunch of people in the chat throwing in what they think of, because I put thoughts on the current Bray Wyatt situation. I think you have to build this up. I have no interest in the Alexa part of it.
Right.
And I just think Alexa could be doing something different for herself, and Bray should be doing something for himself, because the last time they were together, the last image I remember was at WrestleMania where Randy Orton beat him, and I was not happy. The last WrestleMania I went to, WrestleMania 33, I remember the projections of the worms on the mat. I was there and I was like, yo, what's this?
Right.
It just looked weird watching two people roll around on the ground. I'm sure maybe it looked cool at home. I've never went back to watch that match, for the record, either. Maybe it looked cool, but I don't know. I don't know what you do with this guy. Is it too sci-fi? Because I heard a lot of people don't want to work with Bray because they feel like it'll hurt their character. Like LA Knight was punching him and it didn't do anything.
Right. Well, the match at Royal Rumble was a disgrace. We talked about that last week. It was a complete disgrace.
In the archives.
Absolutely. Most definitely check that out. But yeah, the Bray Wyatt thing is drawn out way too long and it's starting to become boring. The Royal Rumble match was pointless. It's not paying off in the way that it should. And it's like there's certain things. Yes, you can tease things. But there comes a point where you have to pay it off, or we just stop caring. It's like now Bray Wyatt comes out and it's like, oh crap, here we go again. Uncle Howdy's going to be in the rafters. Uncle Howdy's going to be in the crowd. Uncle Howdy's going to be in the entrance area. And we're not going to... Uncle Howdy's going to drop a freaking elbow from the top of the stage, but we're still not going to find out who he is. It's like, give me... Okay, we know what we know now. We know Uncle Howdy's an athlete. Awesome. Give us something else.
So on SmackDown, they did give us that jump scare, but that was all we got from Bray Wyatt. And I was like, what is this? Like, he was sitting in the rocking chair, and then they did the, like, Uncle Howdy popped up and then scared people. I don't get it. Like, if we're going to do this, give this man a film then. Don't they still have WWE films?
Right.
Don't they still do something with that?
Of course they do.
I don't know where we're going with this. And I feel like we're kind of spinning our wheels some weeks. And I want some bigger things to happen, but I don't know how we get there eventually for it.
Yeah,
let's see what the chat's saying here. BJ says, who is Uncle Howdy? What's the Wyatt 6 mean? What's the deal with the Alexa stuff? How are the Funhouse people real now? Why has it been so long with no answers? I agree with Sean 100%. I will let you respond to that, Sean.
I appreciate it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, BJM is a knowledgeable guy. It's a fact, man. This is a situation where it's taking too long. You know what I'm trying to say? I remember back in the day, we were very young, very young. Oh my God, if my math is correct, I was like 5. But obviously, I learned more about it in my older age, especially watching the network. The Big Boss Man was in the ring, and the Big Boss Man had all these issues, and he was the former correctional officer from Cobb County, Georgia. But unfortunately, he was getting these weird phone calls and weird interruptions from this inmate who had escaped. And the inmate, everybody knew that this inmate was coming, and it was like, okay, well, who's the inmate that's going to come for his revenge on the Big Boss Man? It took 2 months. It took 2 months. 2 months. 2 months of weekly shows, which is 8 shows, where eventually Nails came out through the crowd and beat the crap out of the Big Boss Man. Now, for obvious reasons outside of pro wrestling, the situation with Nails didn't work out. But in the immediate, it was a success. We didn't have to we waited 2 months from the debut of Nails as an idea, right, to the debut of Nails as a human being. 2 months. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's the higher power? I think somebody made mention of that in a joking way. Cray, big shout out to Cray, made a mention of it in a joking way about, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. And JR, oh, son of a, right? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it took us like a month, 6 weeks to find out who the higher power is. From the time that The Undertaker first mentioned the higher power as a human being an actual entity, we found out 6 weeks later. You can't have something drag out for 6, 8, however long. How long has Bray been back? August? September?
Well, Extreme Rules was in September or October.
Okay, maybe it was. Let's just say October, because I don't remember off the top of my head. So October, November, December, January, February. 5 months we've been waiting to find out who this guy is. It's not.
Or what's the deal with any of it? Like,
or as BJM mentioned, who's the Wyatt 6? I remember when we first started talking about it. It was warm outside, bro. I know that it was warm outside. And it's like, yeah, oh my God, we're on the verge of seeing a new stable. Oh my God, who's going to get the opportunity to be a part of this group? Oh my God, it's an opportunity to make instant stars. Nothing.
Yeah, not a thing. Let's see. Damon here. He says, can't put this on Papa H. This is all Bray and on the guy that's writing this. But the bloom is off the rose. I don't care at this point. I was one of the first people to say be patient, but I'm done.
There you go, McKenny. McKenny feels it. McKenny feels what I'm saying.
But is this all on Papa H? Because, listen, me and Sean have said this too. I know Triple H is running the shows, but does it feel like after SummerSlam shows, it doesn't feel like that anymore, right? It feels like
much better.
It feels like we've just changed the card, but it still feels like a 3-hour Raw. Do. You know? So I don't know. I don't know how you put all this together, but this is definitely something weird here. Let me see. We're getting lots of comments. Long-term storytelling has actual progression. New folds and questions does not equal progress when questions aren't answered as new ones develop. Ooh.
Very well said. I.e., the mega powers, the formation and the breakup. I.e., modern day, the bloodline formation and the breakup. It has to have ebbs and flows, twists and turns that keep you intrigued.
Actually, sidebar question, since you brought up the mega powers, which I consider to be one of the best storylines, and I think Bruce Pritchard gets the credit for a lot of that, like writing it. Like, he said it was like a classic like Bible story of jealousy. I think he that's how he put it, is how he wrote it.
Right.
Would you put Roman Reigns in the Bloodline story in the top 5, maybe top 10?
Top 10 story, not top 5. Hogan, Andre, the mega powers, the Evolution's dismissal of Randy Orton. There's so many great ones. But top 10, I would say top 10.
Yeah. You know another one I put up there that a lot of people don't say? Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. The only thing I think that really hurt it was the finish and Tommaso getting hurt like twice during it. Okay. But if that didn't happen, I really think that could have been one of their best storylines that they ever did, like top 10.
Yeah, that had top tier potential. No question. 100%.
I want to see LA Knight more than Bray. Yo, B-boy, this is not me just saying this because Sean's on here. I swear to you, I watched Sean's TikTok. Go to his TikTok, folks. Subscribe. It's one of the funniest things that you'll see when Sean's just reacting to clips and different things. He gives his thoughts. But Sean's reaction to that LA Knight clip should be viral, where he was like, "Shades of Ric Flair. Look, here it comes. Here it comes." Every time, and I'm waiting for it, and LA Knight just goes crazy like Ric Flair on Nitro used to.
And you know what's funny about that, bro? And I know you're saying it because that's what you know already. That was my genuine reaction. Like that was not played up at all. I really was feeling every second of that.
No, that's his best one. Like that's his best promo so far. Someone said the worms are better than this mess. I forgot Bray was WWE champion. He's been WWE champion a couple times.
Yes, he has.
Pro Wrestling Shoot says, "Yo, I'm interested to hear Pro Wrestling Shoot's comments on this. Him and Derek are big Bray Wyatt fans. I can say that.
I'm a Bray Wyatt fan too. I just think they're messing him up."
Oh, I heard they feature Bray Wyatt on Botchamania this week. Of course. Let's see here. Matt Lopez says they should do a Bray Wyatt horror movie with all this Wyatt Howdy Bliss stuff. They could. What up, Chad?
Chad, what up?
Appreciate you joining us. If only Nails did the the Mountain Dew. He ain't doing Pitch Black. I don't know. Nails was too gimmicky even for me as a kid. I was always like,
he was, but the debut was excellent. Do you remember how he beat the snot out of the Boss Man?
Oh yeah, with the nightstick. Yeah, he was bad, man. They knew where they were going with that from the get go. Where was their blow off match? Was that Survivor Series?
I believe it. Yeah, the blow off was Survivor. It took a while. Boss Man was out, kayfabe injured, and they did the nightstick match at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I love that. That was one of that was like the first outside of WrestleMania pay-per-view I ever ordered. Like my dad got me that one, and I always remember. Yeah, I know Brett beat Sean. I hear people in the chat. Yeah, it was Sean was proving himself at that time, and he delivered in that match. That's when I knew.
Can I give you a hot take on Survivor Series 94? Not 90, 92?
What? Shawn
Michaels should have beat Bret Hart way back then. He was that guy.
He was they were both on top though. They were trying new stuff at that time. Pro Wrestling Shoot said, I think if Bray got more than 1 10-minute segment per show, sometimes less, he had more time to captivate people, might enjoy it more. It feels slow because we get less. But like I said in the beginning, they are dragging this till Mania. Okay. Wait a minute. How did that Nails beat down on the Boss? Oh, you're talking about Boss Man. Okay. Woo, for a second, I thought you were referring to Vince's Boss Man because something happened with them too. Let's see here. Sean, maybe Conrad is Uncle Howdy. I promise you.
Are you Conrad?
Nah, man. Uncle Howdy's got some hair, I think. I ain't jumping off no scaffold. Not for that price.
Wow.
Gomar says time flies. 5 months when you actually did the count, bro.
Been that long.
Do I have to say this for Derek? Howdy. Nice. Every time. He said they're going to mess it up because they want to incorporate Alexa Bliss into this. I kind of feel the same.
They're blowing it, Derek.
You could have had Liv Morgan, someone else in this role. I just don't feel Alexa captures what we're looking for in this. But maybe.
Especially with the been there, done that element, bro. You're 100% right.
Right? Oh, Moolah Gang said top 5. I'm assuming that was for the Roman storyline. I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't want to speak.
I gotta disagree with you, Moolah Gang. I respect your opinion, but it's top. There's so many others. I think somebody mentioned The Rock and Triple H double turn. Rock and Mankind double turn. Yeah, man, that was classic.
Dude. Yo, Vince Russo writing that Survivor Series, that is one of the best works that Vince Russo ever did. Like, if you ever want to point out, like, what's the best thing he ever did, that night when he booked that whole tournament, and the tournament had you believing, like, oh, this is all about The Rock. The Rock's going to get his moment. I'm cheering for him. Yay. Mankind's coming out in the tie, and he's looking foolish. He had on the church shoes with the little jewels on him for Vince. And then you find out that Vince and them turned on him, and it was all a setup. And The Rock had the 4-second match, and it was really a bye for him to get to the next round. They made sure Stone Cold didn't win. It was genius. We should review Deadly Games one of these times for a classic review on here.
Deadly Games was an amazing show, and I'd be cool with that as long as we are able, as long as you promise that we can do that other show I wanted to do that you laughed at me about.
Oh, we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll talk. Maybe we can get some classic reviews. If you guys want some classic reviews, let us know in the comments. I think I think he's letting people do more with the creative until he grabs the reins. Papa H got to put Bray Horse back in the barn for a minute. Well, then at what point do we say Triple H needs to rein him in?
Right. Facts.
He should. This is on both of them also. Sting and Hogan has to be up there for stories, but they also flubbed the ending. Yeah, that's unforgivable.
They did.
Conrad needs 6 figures up front to make that jump. Facts, bro. Let me see that. You know what? If you say all my debts eliminated, I might do it. I might do it for that. Pay it all off. Wait, did y'all see the new waves of AEW figures with Captain Insano? I did. Derek put that on his wish list for his birthday next year, y'all. He's going to want one of those Captain Insanos. I mean, what else is Alexa going to do that's captivating? Let's be real. I just think I like Alexa's character best when she was what was the goddess on SmackDown. That worked. I believe that. I don't know about anything else. But this isn't the only storyline we're going to talk about. I'll let you pick the next one. Go ahead, Sean.
You know, when you're the world champion, okay? When you're the world champion, you have to be in a situation where it comes across and projects itself in the right way. Roman Reigns is the biggest draw and the number one guy in the industry today. But the question I have for you, Conrad, is as we approach WrestleMania, are we 100% sure that we're doing the right thing with the bloodline? Because I, unfortunately, against everything in my being, am agreeing with you that Jay is eventually going to fall right back in line. Jay is eventually going to stay with the bloodline, and it's going to be status quo. Unfortunately, for people like me and everybody who was with me last week, we're going to miss out on main event Jey Uso. And my question to you is, Brother Conrad, why? Why are we afraid to pull the trigger on main event Jey Uso?
I think when it comes to the Usos and bloodline portion of this story, I think that the Usos are going to go down as one of the best tag teams. You hear the argument all the time. Is it the Young Bucks? Honestly, if you ask me my top 4, it's Usos, Young Bucks, FTR, and the Briscoes. And I would say New Day is 5. Those are the top teams, though, that you ain't messing with them. Right. Like that's this generation's like Heart Foundation. I mean, it'll never be like how we used to have it, where they were legitimately just goated with tag teams everywhere they wanted to. But I really, really think that I don't see it with Jay. Like he did good when they had him perform, but it felt like you were pushing somebody who was in a different role. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's a top tag team guy.
But that's the sad part, though, because we're in a situation now. Like the world is. Do you remember what happened last week, man? Do you remember how I had this chat on fire last week when we were talking about main event Jey Uso turning on that overbearing tyrant Roman Reigns? But no, Jey Uso's going to come back in No Way Out, or excuse me, I keep calling it No Way Out. Come back in Elimination Chamber, maybe, or wherever he comes back. He's going to lull Sami Zayn into a false sense of security, and he's going to become Bloodline again. And I think it's really a big mistake. I think they're dropping the ball because we all know Sami Zayn is not going to win the title at Elimination Chamber. But unfortunately, it's like the whole payoff is going to eventually lead to Cody Rhodes, which has nothing to. We need to have a culmination to the Bloodline storyline. It can't just be where Roman Reigns gets over the hump with the Bloodline and moves on to WrestleMania. No, we want this to continue. And Jey Uso, I don't even know if Jey Uso. I don't think even Jey Uso understands. I hope he does, because I hope Jey Uso's in his living room right now thinking to himself, you know what? I know they probably told me, because this is what I think is going to happen. I told you what I want to happen, which is why I had the chat on fire last week. But then you told me what was going to happen. And I hate the fact that I think you're right, because Jey Uso, if I were he, I'd be like, yo, I have a chance to be world freaking champion. Do you understand that? Jey Uso, as we stand right here today, it may not be that way for long, but right here today, Jey Uso has a chance. And chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Jey Uso has the opportunity to be the world champion, and it would be believable and awesome. But yet you're gonna just fall back into the norm and have him team up with his brother again and face KO and Sami Zayn. Like, it almost seems like it's a disappointment.
I hear you. Okay. Can I put on the keeping 100 hat real quick and just tell you what? Here's the thing with Jay. Jay falls into that same category as Jeff Hardy did a while back too. Can you trust him? He can't make some of the international trips without special permission because of his past behaviors.
Right.
And I'm not going to get too deep into that because I'm not here to tear down the dude. Like we talk about the wrestling aspect of this.
Yes.
So he's made some choices and they've
backfired,
haunted what he does at work basically. And do you trust him? And I think to me, you have to see that long term. Like, okay, he's been good. Okay, and it makes you wonder, would he be in this position without Roman? We don't know that, but this story's going so well that you have to continue it or it doesn't work as well. So that's the thing I think that hurts Jay, and I feel like his betrayal is going to be something different here. And hold on, there was a comment that I wanted to reference in here. I'm going to reference the last couple here. You don't go with Jay when Cody and Sami are the biggest baby faces in the company. The Pro Wrestling Shoot says the fans would eat that alive. I'm talking hardcore E fans. Matt says, I feel Jay and possibly Jimmy fully turn on Roman at Mania, being tired of him. They could. I think Roman should beat Sami clean. That was the one. Moolah Gang. Now listen, I can appreciate what you're saying and booking Roman strong still, but I don't think they should do that. I think Sami is the one who should be this close that he almost had him.
Well, you can't get much closer. You can't get much closer than Drew McIntyre. So
I think Sami can do it. Listen, I have faith. I'm about to go on a little high horse here again.
Let's go.
Sami Zayn is one of the most incredible performers I have seen in WWE. He is up there with Rey Mysterio as far as selling to me. Sami Zayn can do this. I think Sami, when they first turned him heel, I thought they were crazy. I was like, he can't do this, bro. He's too lovable. I'm like, there's no way people will boo him. Well, lo and behold, to me, I guess Sami Zayn is someone who gets on people's nerves in real life, but he knew how to push those buttons, and it worked. And eventually, I started to see the charm. Though I'm like, oh, he's so good at being bad that I like him. I think he can do it. I think he can make you believe. Go back to those matches with Neville when he couldn't beat Adrian Neville.
Right.
I was like, how is this dude doing this? I know how good he is. And he had you believe it every time. I'm so close, please. And then when he finally wins it, he's like, oh, my buddy's here, Kevin. And then Kevin slams his head. I'm like, he couldn't even have his moment because he's always selling for somebody. He gets storytelling.
No.
Then he got powerbombed on the apron. Then he was like, you know what? I'll fight you at the next pay-per-view. What happened to him? He got powerbombed like 12 times and lost. They stopped the match. They were like, all right, that's enough, bro. That's enough. And he lost the belt by a stoppage because he was getting beat up so badly. This dude gets it. And I think that he knows what to do in these situations. I have faith in Sami in this.
All right.
Y'all in this Cody talk. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, I'm seeing a lot of the comments, and I hear what you're saying. They feel like Jay is not the guy, and that's cool. But I think last week we talked about it, and obviously we're talking about it this week. I think you have a bird in the hand in this situation. You have an opportunity to really do something great. Sami Zayn is one thing, and Sami Zayn is really over right now, and he deserves his moment in the sun. He's going to be the challenger for the Universal title in his home country, in his home city. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere, and it's going to be a wonderful thing. The only issue I'm having is that Sami Zayn, we all know Sami Zayn's not going to win. If somehow Jey Uso can get into the title picture, and this is not a slight on Cody, but let's call a spade a spade. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong on this one too. Both Sami Zayn and Jey Uso at this moment in time are more over than Cody Rhodes. Period. Nobody can tell me different. Nobody can tell me that the intrigue of possibly Jey Uso turning on Roman Reigns and the situation with Sami Zayn already turning on Roman Reigns is not more intriguing than the Cody Rhodes trying to achieve the family dream. All due respect to Dusty Rhodes, the Hall of Famer, the legend, rest in peace. It's not as intriguing. It's not. I'm telling you guys right now, Conrad, I'm telling you right now, Jey Uso It's not going to happen. But Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is the match. And it makes me so mad that they're right there. They're right there on the doorstep, bro. They can make this happen. And I'm telling you, whether it's Jay's brothers getting a whiff of Roman Reigns being a jerk and turning on Roman Reigns, whether it's Sami getting involved, whether it's KO getting involved, Jey Uso can be the world champion. Jey Uso could legitimately be the world heavyweight champion, and nobody would have a problem with it. It would be amazing, and they're going to crap it away. They're going to go back and play it safe. They're going to have Sami and KO take the tag title. Why? Jey Uso he's right there. Conrad, this is his moment. It would work. Am I wrong? It would work.
I think the people would pop for it. I think they'll pop for anyone who beats Roman. Because that's been the whole build up to the thing, and he was one of the first victims. Was he the first victim?
He was the first victim. It plays a story way back to 2020.
Oh, it might have been Cena, but he was the first victim that was like currently on the roster, I believe.
Yeah.
I think I had that right.
I'm just saying he's not feeling it. Positively, he's saying he's not feeling it. That's cool. Okay.
But I think, listen, but we're talking to smart fans here.
Okay.
So, but they see the same things I do. The external factors are, how can you push Jey Uso, knowing what you've done to people like Jeff Hardy, and they put it. There's plenty of other people we could insert in there who have had outside problems. That it's like, listen, I'd love to, but I can't. You know, I'm sure Triple H and them are back there telling that story. I would love to, but I can't. You know.
I'm gonna go on a little bit of a historical, more logical rant. It's not gonna be one of my normals. It's gonna be more logical and more level-headed. It's not very often, and I mean this is not storyline, kayfabe, whatever. This is real talk. This is Sean Hubbard talking to you guys right now. It's not very often that you're in a position where you can see somebody ascend to the top and really be excited about it. I know Jay's had his off the field per se issues. But you know something? Jey Uso's a hard worker. Both of the Usos. I'm just, the only reason I'm not referencing Jimmy more is because Jimmy's not in this position at this particular moment. Storylines like this are gold. Are absolute gold. And Sami's role in this storyline has been well played. I like it. I'm a fan of it. I love the fact that he's in the main event in his home country. He deserves it. When you had to me, what happened at the Royal Rumble literally took me back to 2020. I mean, everything flooded back in my mind, bro. Everything flooded back with Roman Reigns making Jimmy, choking out Jimmy in order to make Jay tap out in the Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns telling Jay that he could never be the head of the table, telling Jay that he'd be kicked out of the family if he didn't fall in line. Literally every part of that rushed back into my brain. And as Sami Zayn was getting as Sami Zayn was getting the crap kicked out of him, and the fans started chanting, Jay, 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 that's what was flooding back into their minds. It would be the ultimate comeback story. You literally have the opportunity to change the course of history. Jey Uso can become the head of the table, and you're going to piss it away.
Listen, it's there for the taking. I think what people are missing that you see, and I can see exactly what you're seeing, is Jey Uso is the same as Sami Zayn. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the moment when he said, you better fall in line. That's what he's been telling Sami for the last month. You better fall in line and do what you're told. Jay's the only one who can relate to that. Jimmy joined because he saw what was happening to his brother, and he was like, man, we can't beat him. So Jimmy looks weak kind of in it. But he was like, listen, but we're the best tag team, though. No one can stop us. Solo's just there to be the muscle. Solo's really, he ain't lost to nobody. So he's kind of just, what you want to do? Yeah. What's going to happen? So I see your point exactly to this. And I see people making some comments here. I'm going to get into it with some of them. But listen, I see your point, bro. What you're saying, if you were in the writer's room, you would definitely be the guy that'd be like, write his idea down. I want to keep that for a second because I like that. Because if you needed to swerve people, your idea is the one I would use where I'm like, yeah, no one was expecting this.
Oh, no rant, Joel. I'm very passionate about this because to me, I feel like WWE has been really stale over the last many years, and they finally have a bird in the hand. Like this, it's a double deal. Like it's like if you have a chance to eat, figuratively eat double. You know what I'm saying? With this whole like, if you have double the money, double the situation, double the victory with the Sami Zayn situation, right? Sami Zayn. It's an amazing storyline playing out wonderfully, right? But then you actually stumble across, because I don't even think that was the plan, as you see Jay sit in the corner, fans start chanting his name. But now you have like this bird in the hand with Jay Uso. But I understand, it is what it is. Jay, like I said, I've already come to the realization within my mind that you were right and I was wrong. Jay's going to realign himself with the bloodline, and he and his brother are going to defend the titles against Sami and KO, and it's going to be back to status quo.
Well, in my mind, it's what WWE would do, though, right? You see what I'm saying, where I'm coming from?
Sure.
That's what they would normally do. You're outside the box where I'm like, I would be fooled by that. Like, if that happened, I would be like, oh, this is different. But this is what I think is going to happen. It's Mania. We'll see. I saw people say not feeling Jay, but I kind of want to transition into the next one that I wanted to talk about. And the Pro Wrestling Shoot has the comment here. Sami tells stories, love the guy, but he's not the guy. I don't know what it takes to be the guy. Is it the look that Sami doesn't have? Or is it the age that you don't want to put it on him? I don't understand how people are saying Sami's not the guy. I think the key is once the storyline is over, if he's still over after that, you may find out that you made a mistake in how you book this.
I'll say this. First of all, I take Pro Wrestling Shoot very seriously. I think I understand where they're coming from. The problem, Sami Zayn is not the guy, and it's not any fault of Sami Zayn's. Sami Zayn, I can't put my finger on it, man. It's almost like you're saying, and I hate to say this because it sounds very, very unfair and unkind, but it's the truth. It's almost like Sami Zayn is good enough for this moment that he's in now, but he's not good enough to take it all the way. It's like, and it's a shame. It's a shame because if feet to the fire, I could not tell you, Conrad, why I don't think that Sami's the guy. I just know that him beating Roman Reigns doesn't make sense to me in my heart. That's all I'm saying. As a fan, as a journalist, Sami Zayn coming out victorious in a 1-2-3 over Roman Reigns. I don't know, man.
I respect what you're saying, though, because at least you're trying to quantify it and put something behind it. But you're saying, I don't see it. I can't see it. That's a respectable answer than some people who are just like, well, I don't like the guy, Nah, he ain't it.
Liking you, that's silly. Right.
Yeah. Some people are just being ridiculous with it. BJ says, isn't it incredible he wore a mask and they made him wrestle without it because they wanted him to learn how to be better with facial expressions, and look at the dude now. That's what I'm saying. Anything you've ever given him, he reminds me of another CM Punk, Bryan Danielson situation, or Daniel Bryan at the time. Anything they gave to them, they thought they would fail, and they rose up every time. It was like, oh, he can't deliver in this big match. I've listened to Sami Zayn tell stories about how they hated. I don't know if do you remember this babyface movie he used to do? He would be on the second rope. He would jump up to the third, then do a cross body block.
Yeah.
He said he got yelled at for doing that in the PC. And like one of his first matches, they were like, don't ever do that again. And then eventually Triple H came down and saw the match. And he was like, I love it. Do it in every match that you want to do it in. And he was like, okay. And then he said I think Sami Zayn's the reason the indie style got over in NXT.
Okay.
Like people began to dig it. This dude changed a lot of like wrestling stuff for people. Like give him his props, give him his just due. And the Sami and KO, maybe some people are tired of them being attached at the hip. But I guess here's my next one, Sean, that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, let's go.
We've mentioned Sami. There he is. Sami's been on this incredible ride right now with what he's doing, the moves he's making. And some fans are behind him, and some fans are even saying maybe he should be the one instead of Cody in the main event of WrestleMania. If I'm asking you to compare these two, are they making the right move with Cody, in your opinion?
I'll take it a step further, bro. I'll take it a step further. It's 3-2-1 in my opinion. As far as the people who I'd like to see Roman defend the title against at WrestleMania, and Cody's third. To me, it's Jay number 1, Sami number 2, and Cody number 3. I am totally disinvolved and disenchanted with the whole Cody storyline.
Now, what has made you disenchanted with it? I
think it's corny. I think the way they brought him back was corny. I think the fact that he was number 30 instead of a surprise entrant was corny. I think that them announcing him ahead of time was silly. I think the fact that this is his childhood dream that he's trying to take over for his father. We all respect and love Dusty Rhodes, but I think it's starting to become very cliche, very corny. And you know what? I think the right word is a little entitled. Because I don't like it. I don't like the fact that you basically jumped ship from AEW after you said that you were Mr. Independent, Mr. I'm going to do things my way, Mr. Sledgehammer on the throne kind of guy. You come back, you cowtail, you get paid all this amount of money. Now you get your big debut, you go out injured, you come back, you win the Royal Rumble. Edge came back after a long injury and won the Royal Rumble. And you know what? At WrestleMania, he lost. You know why? Because Edge respects the industry. I think it's a big slap in the face to see Cody come back and win the world title at WrestleMania. So you want to talk about stupid, Conrad? Let me take you somewhere where I don't even think, and you're a smart guy, I don't even think you're thinking I'm going to go where I'm going to go right here. How about this? The guy that left, the guy that started his own company, the guy that created what your rival is right now, the guy who humiliated your brand for years has come back, and that guy is going to win your world title? That guy. The guy who humiliated you, the guy who disrespected WWE. Not that WWE doesn't deserve a little disrespect because they stunk for
They did it first, technically.
Right, facts. But that guy, the poster boy of spitting in WWE's face for 4 years, is now going to be your world champion? Really? Okay. Whatever.
I mean, I think the issue is, what message does that send to talent? When you're not where you want to be, leave and then come back.
No. I want you to do me a favor, Conrad. Please pull up Pro Wrestling Shoots. No. Pro Wrestling Shoots comment about if you were a Dusty fan.
Hold on here.
I want everybody to read this. If you were a Dusty fan, you should want this. Absolutely not. Let me tell you something right here now. My love, and Conrad and I have talked about this offline, I adore Dusty Rhodes. Am I lying? I love Dusty Rhodes. And I think he should have been WWE champion. There is no way that I'm going to sit up here and associate the fact that Dusty never got it done unfairly, because he should have. Dusty never got it done, and say that Cody should get it done because he's Dusty's son. Absolutely not. I refuse to subscribe to that way of thinking. It is not right. Cody is not Dusty, and Dusty is not Cody. I'm telling you flat out right here and now, with the way Cody's conducted himself, I'm not saying he's a horrible human being, but he's been unprofessional and disloyal. There is no way that Cody Rhodes is walking into my company on my biggest show in history and taking the title from the greatest world champion in modern day era. It ain't happening on my watch, period. And that's no disrespect to Dusty Rhodes. Has nothing to do with Dusty Rhodes. I love Dusty Rhodes. But Cody Rhodes, plain and simple, is not going to walk into my front door after he spat in my face for 3 years and then take the title from the most dominant champion in 2 decades on the main event of my biggest show.
I'm playing a lot of devil's advocate today for this. So let me play devil's advocate on this one, though. So Cody had all the leverage though at the time, Sean.
And chat, you and the chat tell me if what I'm saying doesn't. If I'm not making any sense at all, you tell me.
So here's how I'm gonna put it. With Cody's situation, Cody had all the leverage. It was perfect timing for him to do what he did if he was going to come over here and make this move. I agree with you. I think Cody Rhodes is a politician to the fullest degree.
Thank you.
He won't admit to it anymore because he's very smart with his words and what he does. But Cody Rhodes is a politician. Let's be honest. And he's learned how to get better at the game since then. He's not just the mid-card guy. I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for the 6-man tag match. He was like, no, I'm about to ascend to the top. I know what to do now. I see what the boss thinks. I see what the boss wants. I'm going to come over here and I know exactly what I need to do this time. WWE released all those people. How much money do you think they saved? 20, 30 million maybe?
Right.
Probably more, right? They got rid of people, got rid of locations, things like that. Even behind the scenes stuff nobody saw. Cody Rhodes came over and they only gave him $5 million because wrestlers aren't paid enough. I don't care what anyone tells you. Boxers, wrestlers, football players, the reason they get paid what they get paid because they don't get paid enough most of the time. I know there's going to be people arguing that they're overpaid. I disagree. All right? These guys are putting their bodies on the line for you. Pay them fairly. Cody got $5 million. It was simple to do. It could have been anybody at that point, Sean, who would have gotten it. And then their next thing would have probably been, I want to be the champion too. I wonder if it's in his contract. Many people are probably going to say, yeah, it should be.
No,
I don't know. That's my argument to it. Cody knew he was coming in to get the bag and he wanted everything. He was like, I want the belt. I want to be able to say what I want to say. I don't want someone writing my promos for me. And they had to give him all that because at this point, everybody was going to AEW. And how do you attract people back so that we look cool?
See, my thing though is this. See, by me saying that I don't think Cody deserves it, it's like I'm advocating for WWE. I'm not advocating for WWE. I'm saying that Cody Rhodes has made a lot of moves that, like you said, come across political. And you can't make those kind of moves and then walk right into my front door and get the world handed to you. I get it, Sean, but if you heard what I heard on Monday, the people have spoken because you deserve it. Chants were pretty loud. I think that Cody not gotten hurt, the Sami story would be different. You're probably right, McKinney. You're probably right, and I respect your opinion. But let me tell you, I appreciate that, Craig. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes has done some things that have turned me way off as a wrestling fan. When Cody Rhodes went rogue and did what he had to do for AEW and for himself, and when he was the NWA champion and doing all this stuff, it was like, yo, he's the people's champion. No disrespect to The Rock. He's the people's champion. He's like, you know what? WWE doesn't know how to treat people. I'm going out to do what I got to do. And as soon as WWE waves some money in your face, you go back. You literally showed no loyalty. No loyalty. And shame on WWE, too. Shame on WWE. WWE treated his father badly. WWE treated his brother bad. Now, if you want to say that the reason why Cody Rhodes is going to be put in this position is because they treated Dusty badly and because they treated Dustin badly and they're trying to make up for it like this, all of a sudden WWE has a conscience, maybe. If you want to say that Triple H or whoever the powers that be are over there have a conscience and are doing this not only out of respect for Cody Rhodes as an athlete, because he's a tremendous athlete and tremendous performer, but also because of how they treated Dusty and how they treated Dustin, and they want to make it right. Hey, if you're having to come to Jesus meeting, I'm gonna be the last person to have a problem with that. Everybody knows my faith and how I believe in treating people as you want to be treated. But I don't think that's what WWE is doing. I think WWE is as selfish as it ever was, and WWE is trying to cash in on Cody Rhodes. The problem is Cody Rhodes is getting everything he wants handed to him on a silver platter after he said that he wanted nothing to do with it. He was anti-WWE. He was, screw WWE. I want to see people get ahead. And the second they waved money in a WrestleMania main event in front of him, now he's back, and now he's going to be world champion. While people like Sami Zayn and while people like the Usos are in tag team matches at WrestleMania instead of the main event. Let me put a bow on this. And Conrad, I've never said this to you, so maybe either you'll feel it or you won't. The same issue I have with The Rock being in the main event of WrestleMania is the same problem I have with Cody Rhodes being in the main event of WrestleMania. For many, many years, WWE was not a priority for Cody Rhodes. So why should WWE make Cody Rhodes a priority?
I think WWE's in such a desperate spot. That's my logic behind it. They're so desperate that they don't have a choice in this matter. Cody is much more than just going to be the champion. Cody Rhodes holds the keys, as I keep telling. I wish I had my keys right here. He holds the keys to the proverbial AEW door. Sean, I don't know who released the security footage, but you should fire him, whoever did this. Did you see who was at the Royal Rumble with Cody?
Did I see what?
Did you see who showed up backstage at the Royal Rumble with Cody? Someone stole the security footage and took a screenshot of it.
I did not. Enlighten me, brother.
Ricky Starks was backstage. Now listen, Cody's the reason why he got the job. I get it. He's loyal to his friend, but he's backstage over there. If you're Tony Khan, listen, I know people are like, they're wrestlers, they're all friends. I get it. But if I'm Tony Khan, I'm not cool with that either. Because they're talking business backstage. Like, oh, here's Bruce. Hey, kid, I really like what you do. I dig the whole, I dig the whole thing you're doing out there, man. We can make that really over here. Imagine it on the shirts. Imagine the action figures. We want you, man. You used to want to work here, didn't you? I remember you in those segments with Undertaker and Ryback. Yeah. Those conversations are being had. Like, I don't care if you believe it or not. You can say, oh, that didn't happen. Shut it. All right? You're lying. They talk like this.
Let me add something else, too, and I want you to fill me on this, too. I want to talk to BJM and more so Positively E. I'm hearing a lot of, WWE is, I see AEW, what he did in AEW has nothing to do with WWE contract, changed the way WWE fans, okay, cool, they're hungry for Cody Rhodes. You don't judge how over a guy, obviously you judge him by how over he is with the fans, but what I'm talking about is not Cody Rhodes being over or not. He's definitely over. A blind man can see that Cody's over. And Conrad, again, back me up if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong. The way you find what I'm doing is I'm comparing how over Cody is to how over Sami and JR. Now, if Cody Rhodes moseys along to the road to WrestleMania, nobody's going to have a problem with it except me, obviously. But if somehow, which is not going to happen, if somehow Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes ended up in like a number one contenders match, let's say somehow along the line, Cody Rhodes' title shot is on the line, and Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes are fighting on Monday Night Raw to see who gets to go to WrestleMania. Question: who do you think they cheer for?
I think that would be crazy booking, number one.
It would never happen. I'm just making a point to what Positively E is talking about and some other people are talking about. Oh, Cody's over. I know he's over. But if somehow Cody and Sami Zayn were in the same boat for that title shot, who do you think and now you're bringing up the DUIs. I already said I understand the situation. Don't try and flip it. Don't try and flip it. I'm not saying I don't understand the situation. You guys are coming at me, not coming at me. We're having a good conversation. You guys are talking to me about Cody's over. I never said he wasn't. But if in that crazy booking situation, that would never happen, Conrad. If Cody and Sami Zayn today, on Raw tonight, fought for the number one contendership for WrestleMania, who would the fans cheer for?
I would go 70-30 if I'm venturing to guess. I think 70% would cheer for Sami right now and 30 would cheer for Cody. I'm not saying Cody would get booed out of the arena, but
I hear you. I'm just trying to give you guys some perspective. I think you get me, Conrad. I'm talking to some of our listeners who I appreciate very much. Disagreeing is part of what makes this show great, but just put it in perspective. I'm not saying Cody is not over. I'm not even saying Cody doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying he doesn't deserve it as much as Sami Zayn or Jey Uso. Because it's same thing with if Jey Uso fought Cody Rhodes today for the number one contendership at WrestleMania, they would cheer more for Jey Uso.
Right? Let me see here. Let's not forget Reigns got 2 straps. That is true. AEW dropping the ball with Ricky Starks. I don't think it's AEW. I think it's the booking with Jericho, and we'll get into that. I'm not talking hypotheticals.
I can talk hypotheticals, and I will talk hypotheticals, and I'll have fun talking hypotheticals because I'm Team Jay and Team Sami, and nobody can change my mind.
Sami has not been booked on that level, but here's my question though. I keep seeing people say though that he can't ascend to that level. Why can't he?
Hold on. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Craig, for speaking obvious stuff that we can see every day. Everybody knows Sami is more over than Cody. Don't be. Thank you. Thank you for stating. I appreciate you being honest. That's all I'm looking for here. I don't care who likes Cody and who likes Sami. Tell the truth. Thank you, Craig. Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Conrad.
No. He's saying Sami is not paid on that level. He doesn't have the contract like Owens and Rhodes.
That's true.
But here's the thing, though. Who's paid off for you more in the last 3 to 5 years between Kevin Owens and Sami? I think Sami's paid off more. I'm just saying. That's just me, though, looking at it. I get it, though, with that stuff. Let's see here. 51-50 Cody, 60 Sami, 40 Cody. But see, the Elimination Chamber is going to progress the events to where Cody will be the guy cheered more than Sami and Jay. It'll be due to Jay with it. We'll see. We'll see how the fans react. Listen.
That's it. No, what BJM just said is actually an educated, smart, like that's logical. That makes sense. Like if you're saying it's going to change, okay, cool.
And listen, E's not wrong either, though, because what E is saying is what the television program is telling you. They're telling you, Cody.
That's not the point. And like I said, positively E, bring it on. I'm having fun with this. But at the end of the day, I'm saying one thing that's undisputed. There's nothing I'm saying that's wrong. I said Sami is more over than Cody. I said Jay is more over than Cody on what's today? February 6, 2023. What am I saying that's wrong? Nothing.
Listen. It's a good back and forth in discussion. And let's merge this into, so I want to talk about MJF and the fans, and then we'll get into the Nuff Said card real quick.
Absolutely.
Okay. John, let's talk about the MJF stuff, because we were talking back and forth in a text, and that got kind of interesting as well with the MJF feelings. Are you agreeing with what some people are saying?
Well, I know that I think it's getting a little stale. That's what I think. And I think he predicted it would be that way. You're right. And I'm starting to see that that's exactly how it's playing out.
I don't think he predicted it being that way. I think MJF predicted what fans always do.
Right.
And this is my question. Are fans ready if you told fans you're going to have to wait longer for stories to be told? Or are fans in that Vince Russo attitude era mindset to where, like you said, this should be done in 6 weeks. This should be done in 4 weeks. Is long-term storytelling good? I loved it with the Hangman Kenny stuff in the beginning, but then we talk in our chat, and BJ's one of the people that always brings it up. The whole we're friends. Listen, at this point, bro, y'all could have hugged it out at this point. Like, what is taking so long for everyone to be friends here and nobody wants to talk and it's awkward and weird? But do they have a point, though, to saying, like, there's a long-term story here, wait for it, be patient. But some fans are like, hurry it up.
Big shout out to Pro Wrestling Shoot. I appreciate that. I don't know. Patience is a virtue, right? We were talking about that with Bray Wyatt, man. I mean, how patient do you want us to be, bro? You're right, but like it's like there comes a point where it's like, ugh, like it's like, ooh, like waiting a long time,
right? Good chat too. I'm just seeing some of the back and forth about the Cody.
I don't back away from a challenge. I enjoy people who agree with me. I enjoy people who disagree with me even more because we can get into some things. But for me, I just enjoy the fact that Sami could have future. But
I got this one. That's not for you, Daddy. That's for the Stinger. That's for Luger. You have to wait, Steve. You don't have to wait, Steve Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard his ECW promo when he was like, that's what Dusty told him. He's like, can I get a match with Hogan, maybe? Steve Austin's like, that's not for you, Daddy. That's for Stinger. That's for the Lugas. And he was like, when's my time going to happen?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the payoff, I just hope the payoff happens at the pay-per-view. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I mean, Daniel Bryan's been really doing this thing on AEW. That's the only part of it that I enjoy, that we're getting features on Daniel Bryan every single week. So, you know, in that regard, I salute the efforts of AEW. I just hope that I just think that the MGF himself has been a little stale lately, but that's just a personal opinion.
I just think it's pro wrestling and what's going to happen with this. Like I was telling Sean, what the fans want sometimes will happen in such a crazy manner. Do you remember the whole Daniel Bryan story? They all wanted him to be the champion so badly. And I can remember like after that Kane match, I want to say, you remember with the forklift and all that garbage. They were like, yeah, take the belt off of him. I'm ready for someone new. Because as fans, sometimes we're always looking, what's next? What's next?
Right.
And I think that's a problem sometimes.
And let me say this. I think, and you kind of called me out on this. I was coming out of church yesterday, and we were texting. Maybe I'm that guy. Maybe I admit, maybe I'm that guy.
I think as fans, we all get wrapped in it. Cody wins the belt at WrestleMania. The first thing you're thinking is who takes it off of Cody? Who have they built up to take it off of Cody? Right. Let's see here. If it's a storyline involving the Elite, guaranteed it's about are we friends or not?
Yes. Preach, brother, preach.
We are getting weekly Danielson bangers out of the MJF stuff. I think with Danielson, it goes into the whole. You have this guy, and he says he's done. Like after this contract, he says he's not full time anymore. He's going to be part time.
Right.
I respect it. I understand why. He's been in the game a long time, just like Punk, a lot of them.
Sure.
And I know Punk took 7 years off, but the bodies are old. They've taken some beatings over the years, and they're trying to get as much juice out of him because there's so many potential matchups you could get. And you're like, I'm sure Tony Khan has the sheet, and he's like, who do you want to wrestle? Give me this guy. Okay. Next week, 8 matches straight. You can pick whoever you want to wrestle. It wasn't like it was the typical MJF storyline where he had to run the gauntlet of people MJF picked. Right. He had one that MJF picked. And now MJF worked himself into a shoot trying to cost him the match. Now he's got an eliminator match with Takeshita. I like it. It works. It's AEW is simple booking. Some people don't see it that way. Shout out to Eric Bischoff, and they just don't understand what the story being told is. Well, I hate when people say AEW doesn't have stories. If we really want to talk, WWE is the one who lacks stories. In all truthful honesty,
which is
like,
the reason why I'm so passionate about the Jey Uso thing, because it's like it's so that's pretty much the crux of everything I've been screaming about, is the fact that like WWE gets it wrong so often. Hey, dummies, you actually stumbled on something. Don't you know? It's being handed to you on a silver platter. That's what's like WWE screws up so much on the regular. Big shout out to Gomar. Big shout out to Gomar. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was just gonna say thank you, Gomar. And it's all love, dude. Nobody's really having beef, but sometimes the conversations and debates are gonna get real.
At all. Like, we could agree to disagree. I don't have a personal beef with Cody, but no, I'm not a big fan.
Derek must be behind because Derek is going off behind us. MJF is having a Hangman run, but I'm looking forward to that Iron Man match. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be fine.
That's if he gets the. I'm just kidding. We all know Daniel Bryan's gonna run the gauntlet.
Yeah, of course. He's got one more match, I think, this week. I want Bryan to have one last world championship before he's done. In AEW, you're basically part-time anyway. Catch my drift? Like, okay, he doesn't do house shows. Whoop-de-whoop. Like, okay, right. They'll be fine. They'll be fine with that. I just wanted to ask that question of fans, and is it that simple? And the Cody Rhodes thing, I think Cody and Sami can be debated. I'm one of those people in the middle. Like, is it Cody? You probably promised Cody it, so are you going to keep your promise to him, or do you go with what the fans want right now? And sometimes the fans aren't always right. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no perfect answer to any of this. It's all hypotheticals. But the moment something goes wrong with Cody, I guarantee what everyone's going to say. I told you should have put it on Sami.
Yeah,
Sean might be here. They both let's say they're both not over in 3 months after Mania. Sean's gonna be like, y'all should have did it with Jey Uso. I told y'all to do it with Jey Uso, because that vindication is there.
I'm not that petty of a person, but I just think that they have a bird in the hand, bro, and they should take advantage of it. But they won't, and that's okay. You're putting all your money on Cody, and you're hoping that it works out, and that's pretty much. I mean, it's very rare. See, and I gotta go back to somebody. I think it was the wrestling shoot. I never disagree with Sami more than Cody. Jay is in no way, shape, or form more over than Cody, but Sean, I respect your opinion. I appreciate you for that. My thing is this. So he disagrees with me on Jay. Cool, no problem. But we can all agree that WWE right now, on this day, again, February 7th might be something different. Today's February 6th. On February 6th, 2023, WWE has 3 guys, right? Am I wrong? 3 guys that would be okay, acceptable, defendable to have opposite Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, right? So it's like you have 3 guys. So it's like for once, WWE, at least we can all agree on this, at least WWE finally has options where they should not be able to screw it up. I'm just trying to say Cody's not the only option.
And I think that's what hurts the booking too. And we talked about the Rumble. You didn't have all your strongest options in the Rumble, so it made the Rumble more predictable. Why was the 2001 Royal Rumble great? Because you didn't know if Rock was winning, if Stone Cold was winning, if Kane could have won or Taker.
Right.
Why was the 1992 Royal Rumble great? Because you could have had Ric Flair win. You could have had Hogan. You had Sid Justice. You had Macho Man. You could have had Jake the Snake Taker. You could have had The Undertaker win it back. You had options.
True.
That's what makes these things great. The probability of being able to stop on the dime and say, you know what, Sean, we know the idea Conrad has is great, but what if we went with Sean's idea? That's, to me, the most intriguing thing to ever hear if you're hearing creative talks. Yeah, Conrad, your idea is great. That's normally what we would do. But let's listen to Sean's idea one more time. How do you get those matches where Taka Michinoku beat Triple H? How do you get those matches from ideas like you had? So I'm giving you full credit for that. Like,
you know what the crazy part is, bro? And I appreciate you for that. You know what the crazy part is, bro? Just a little comparison. Actually, it's a terrible comparison, but it's just the shock factor. I would have had Chris Jericho really beat Triple H on Monday Night Raw in the year 2000.
I think they wanted to. They should have. I always felt that was Jericho's moment. It would have been cool for him to get the belt the way he did.
Yeah.
Like him being the first undisputed champion was cool, but I really was like, ugh. I was happy when they first did, but I hate how they proceeded afterwards.
Exactly.
And we could be saying the same thing about Cody. It sounds good. Is he going to get to actually do the winged eagle thing? They promised Punk he could change the belt too, and it never got to happen because merchandise.
Right.
So I hope they let him do it. That's all I could say. You could put it on Cody, and then Jay can run up as a heel, but I wouldn't do Jay as a face champ contender.
I respect that, McKinney. I respect that.
Vince was so desperate for stars and sea change in terms of optics with AEW. He gave Cody Punk money and put the strap on the roller coaster. Knock it off, E. Knock it off. You ain't getting me in trouble with that. So, listen, the road to WrestleMania talk's going to be happening for a while. We didn't even get into the Nick Khan, Vince McMahon stuff. I'm kind of waiting for more information to divulge. The only thing I can tell you that I've learned from some of this recent business talk, Sean, is don't trust Nick Khan. Don't trust Nick Khan.
That's right.
Don't trust the con man from Connecticut. Now, listen, we're going to do a little preview here for NWA. Our friends at Fight have hooked us up. Don't forget they got Battle in the Valley happening February 19th, 2023.
Which we will be previewing in depth next week.
Yes. And don't forget, this is the match. I think that's the money match. This is what sold out all the show.
The money match?
Kyrie versus Mercedes.
The money match?
Money. Yes, I like that. I like that.
I love it.
The jokes will never stop. But I hope you all stick around for this. Let's try to run through this as best we can. The NWA, Sean, how are you feeling overall right now with their product, what they're trying to do? I mean, I know it's not perfect. It's not where it once was. NWA at one point was probably my second or third favorite promotion. Right. To where I was like loving everything that they brought to the table. How are you feeling about it now?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, I'm cool with Tyrus being champion because I like the way that his career has evolved. He's certainly not one of the 3 or 4 best champions in pro wrestling, but I like it. NWA is old school, bro. NWA is old school, and you know me. I'm old school to my heart. I respect NWA what they're trying to do, but they need to do some work because it's fallen off the last couple of years. NWA was really popping a couple of years ago, as you stated earlier correctly, and now they have to kind of get back on their wagon and see if they could ride back into a time where they're actually looked at in the same light as the AEW, which they won't. But maybe on a New Japan level or Impact level, but it is what it is. But this pay-per-view is going to be big for them. We're going to see if Tyrus is going to be a legit champion for the foreseeable future.
I'm very interested in some of the undercard matches. So first up here, we've got we'll just say two beautiful faces right on this poster. You've got Trevor Murdoch versus Chris Adonis. These are two guys you would have seen on Monday Night Raw back in like 2006.
That's right.
We have the former Masterpiece and Trevor Murdoch in a singles match. Absolutely. I'm digging this one. They've been building this one up a little bit here. I think you got to go with Adonis, in my opinion. The dude's got the look, and I'm surprised that they have not put him at the highest level yet. He looks like a star.
Yeah.
He's built like a star.
I agree. And you got Murdoch, who's Mr. NWA, Mr. Old School. I think you have an opportunity now to really put Adonis in a good position, and I think he will be. I think he's going to be victorious on Saturday night. Help me out.
What day is this? I believe it's a Saturday.
It's not Saturday. Okay, cool. Saturday night, yes. On Fight TV, yes.
Yeah, so you're going with Adonis too then?
I am.
I think it's safe to say. Let me see. We got NWA card looks good. Pay-per-view did sell out, so it's working.
That's a good sign.
Right? Camille versus Angelina Love is the match Matt Lopez is most looking forward to. Conrad Thompson revealed on WHW weeks ago that Nick Khan 4 years ago. Oh, okay. Lesson learned. I did read that as well about the con man from Connecticut. Next matchup here. Let's talk about Kevin Kiley versus EC3. Now, Sean, some of the viewers may not be familiar with who Kevin Kiley is.
Main event of WrestleMania, didn't he? I'm just joking.
Well, he was out there. I don't know if he main evented it. But this is the former Alex Riley, the rare breed now, Kevin Kiley.
Yeah. I think his best days are behind him. I think EC3 has enough momentum behind him to continue to be a victorious party in this pay-per-view match. I mean, Kevin Kiley is cool, but, there's certain people that can transition from WWE and go and be successful elsewhere. I think he's a little bit lost in the shuffle. EC3 is still a recognizable name. I think he comes out victorious.
Right. EC3 is someone he had his great days in Impact as well. I thought he was one of the more entertaining aspects of the show when I was watching. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to offer in that match too. I think that could be one of the sleeper matches where you're like, who's going to win this?
Right.
That's one of the ones I'd be looking at to see what's going to happen with.
Who do you have winning?
I'm definitely going to go with EC3. I think he's just their guy right now at the time. But I like it. The setup for it is good. EC3 is just, I think he's more of the NWA guy than Kevin. Yeah. Now let's look at this. Let's look at the junior. Let's get into a championship matchup here with the son of the Rock and Roll Express, junior heavyweight champion Kerry Morton versus Alex Taylor. Listen, the Morton family is NWA through and through. Anytime I think of the Rock and Roll Express, I think of the NWA first, at least for first thoughts.
Right.
Kerry Morton was doing his thing. He's been the champion. I believe he defeated Homicide for the title.
Yeah.
So do you think it's his time to end as champion? Do they make a move here?
No, I think he retains. I think that he's going to have a little bit of a run with the title, especially with his father by his side. I think that's the nostalgic element to NWA that we all like and respect. I think he retains.
Next up, we have ourselves the NWA National Heavyweight Championship match. We have Scion with Austin Idol versus Homicide.
This is interesting.
Yeah, this is a tough one to call for different reasons because I feel like Scion hasn't been the champ long enough, and Homicide just lost the title, but maybe they're trying to move him into a better role because Homicide's the bigger name of the two, in my opinion.
Well, you're taking the words right out of my mouth, man. I was just about to say I think this is a transitional championship run for Sion. I think that Homicide's going to win. I think that he lost the other title because that he's going to gain this one. I think Homicide's kind of like on his one last run kind of tour. He hasn't announced anything, but he's getting up there in age as well. So I think he's going to get a run as the national heavyweight champion. You know, a lot of us talk about it, national heavyweight title, U.S. heavyweight title, kind of one and the same. The second biggest title in all of NWA. I think it's going to be an opportunity for Homicide to get one of the big belts.
Yeah, and listen, the homie definitely deserves it. At least in my opinion, he is he's really good. But I'm gonna go with Sion here to retain. I think that they're gonna invest a lot of money into this guy, and I'm going to. Do I kayfabe it, man? I saw somebody ask, "Who is Sion?" Is that Joey Ryan under the mask? Should I tell him who it is?
Go ahead.
I know it's Robert Anthony. If you guys remember, he wrestled John Moxley in some of the I can't even say it, the P-demic era, we'll call it, matches. He is underneath the mask of Sion. I think Austin Idol helps him get the win here. You can't underestimate the mind frame of Austin Idol. He's always lurking. So I think that's who's going to get the dub here for that matchup. Let us get into our next contest here. And it's Tom Latimer versus Fodder. Singapore Cane match. Little ECW style match. Listen, I got Tom Latimer, period. Tom Latimer is that guy. I feel he was a strictly business with Nick Aldis. They had big plans for him. That's who I'm picking to win this.
I'm agreeing with you all the way. I think that he's going to be victorious. Fodder is just not. You just look at these two guys in the ring, and you're like, okay, you know what? This is kind of like one of these situations where he's going to get his hits in. Singapore Cane's going to be entertaining, but no, Latimer is victorious.
Right? Somebody said who? Robert Anthony's a good wrestler. He came up in the Moxley era. If you look him up, you'll see him on like Dynamite. He's had matches on Dynamite and stuff, so check him out. Definitely a dope wrestler though. Dead serious. We're into the big matches now. Camille has been the best NWA Women's Champion that I could ever think of.
Ever.
She is crushing competition left and right. But she's going to face Angelina Love. I believe one of the leaders of the Beautiful People at one time in Impact Wrestling. Angelina Love still making moves in the business. Is she the one to defeat Camille?
She is, but she won't be. You know what I'm trying to say? She has the capability, but she won't be. I don't. This is kind of like the never-ending championship reign for Camille. I don't see anybody knocking her off. Just like I don't see anybody knocking off, like as a comparison, like Jade Cargill or somebody like that. I just think that Camille's gonna just keep the ball rolling. I don't know. They're gonna have to pull somebody out of the hat. They're gonna have to create like a monster, like a robot, to beat Camille because she's. I think Camille is the greatest champion in modern. Here we go. The greatest champion in modern day NWA history. She has been dominant. Now you may are you going to say that she's been more dominant than the heavyweight champion? Maybe so. Look at the world title reigns in NWA over the past 10 years. Camille is dominant, and she remains that way on Saturday night.
And I think that's the way the NWA fan base likes her.
Yeah.
She even protected Nick Aldis. He never had a bad move at all with her in the corner. He always delivered when she was there. And in the main event, you've got Tyrus defending against Matt Cardona.
I'm one of the rare people that actually I'm a fan of Tyrus. I just remember where he came from. We all remember his previous characters. So I like the ascension to the world title. I think in 2023, there's only 2 world titles that are truly recognized. That's AEW and WWE. But I still respect the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, 10 pounds of gold, and I think it's cool that he won it. I think he retains, even though Cardona would be the better pick, and I would have normally picked Cardona. There's so much talk about contracts and him leaving or him staying, and nobody knows what the extension is. So it's like there's always a threat of him leaving. So with that being said, strictly for the purposes of Tyrus being a full-fledged NWA guy, I say he wins.
I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna pick Matt Cardona.
Okay.
Only because we haven't seen him signed. Tyrus is not my favorite NWA champion.
I know he's not.
He is not my favorite NWA champion. But listen, that's Billy Corgan's decision. He decided to roll with it. But Cardona's story never seemed finished to me in this situation with Aldis. I know Aldis isn't there anymore, but I really wanted to see what Cardona's run would have been. The slander in the chat on Tyrus is good.
That's rough. Sheesh. Craig, you're a nice guy too. Sheesh.
Well, I don't know if you know the behind the scenes reason why a lot of people are not fans of Tyrus, but that's.
I'm not. I mean, there's a personal aspect to it too. I know what you're trying to say. I'm talking about just. I thought we were talking strictly professional wrestling.
I wanted to clarify that for people who are listening because some people are probably thinking like,
no.
What do you mean you're a big fan, Sean? We're talking just the NWA.
Just wrestling. As a human being, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, so I think some people are saying they see Cardona as Zack Ryder the night after Mania. Is that big enough for him?
And real quick, my brother, the question was who do I think will win, not who do I want to win. If who do I want to win? Matt Cardona. That wasn't the question.
Facts. But do you see Ryder? Do you see Cardona becoming Ryder again after? I know Chelsea Green's over there, but is he going to want to follow his girl? I'm sorry, it's his wife now. Excuse me.
I think so, and I'm hoping that it's not as Zack Ryder either. I'm hoping he comes back as Matt Cardona.
Jeez Louise, Craig. He reaffirmed it, even just strictly wrestling. Not a fan. It's that roll through, man. I can't get that out of my mind from the last pay-per-view he did. It was just so slow. The funky dinosaur, y'all tripping, man. The chat is wild for this. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys haven't already before we head on out of here. Absolutely. But I don't see Cardona. I don't see him going over there because if he goes back to WWE, I don't want Zack Ryder. I don't want Zack Ryder. I want Matt Cardona now.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to be, once again, the same thing with Cody. What are you willing to give up? Can I have my music that I paid for? Can I wear my tights that I always wear? Can I be this? Can I be that? He's going to want the same thing. They're going to have to keep giving up stuff to get people.
Hey, listen.
Somebody said this NWA roster. Woo.
It's rough.
They're working.
They're working. They're doing the best they can, though.
Cardona owns the copyright to Zack Ryder. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. Right. Those were the days. Those were the days. Listen, Sean's got some merch coming up. He's moved up the date here. Tell me what's going on with that, bro. Let's get some plugs in for you.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you, bro. Like, basically, my situation is this. I'm looking at the merch, and the original launch date for the clothing line was going to be March 1st, but I want it to be available to everybody on the day that we do this show. You know what I'm saying? So on Monday, February 27th, actually at Showtime, I'm going to make the link active for everybody to be able to go out and get their Hubbard Wrestling Weekly merchandise. It's not all exclusive Hubbard Wrestling Weekly and wearing my logo across your chest. If you want to support, that's awesome. But it's also affirmation t-shirts. It's also throwback t-shirts. It's also retro t-shirts. So it's going to be really, really cool. And it's going to have everything available to you, whether it's t-shirts, hoodies, cups, magnets. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be dope, man. So I put a lot of work into this. Conrad's been a great help to me with this as well. And it's the first time I've been in business doing the podcast thing, the combat sports media thing for 4.5 years. And finally, it's come the time where we're going to take it to a next level and get this merch thing squared away, man. So on February 27th, obviously, we'll be here live on February 27th. Go out and get some merch, man. Get yourself a shirt. That'd be much appreciated, man. Show some love.
Prayers up for the sirens I heard behind you, too. It's like I went to Catholic school. It's one of those things. Anytime I hear it, I always stop for a second and think that.
No doubt.
Matt Lopez has a question for you, though. He says, Sean, quick question. As a boxing fan, are you into the news of Taylor versus Serrano 2 in May?
I am. Very intriguing fight. I think it's going to be a better fight than the first one. Thank you for asking, and Lizzie. But also, I'm very excited, as I've mentioned many times already, the prospect of Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. That is the marquee fight of the spring that unfortunately has yet to be signed.
Yes. By the way, if you guys are big video game fans and you play on like PC and stuff like that, that Undisputed has it's in demo version right now where you guys can play it. The game looks really good. I definitely think I'm copping it for the 5 the moment that it drops. So I cannot wait for that. I've been missing a box. I've been jonesing. Sean probably knows because I message him a lot about that. I've been jonesing for a boxing game.
No doubt.
All right.
Man.
And you know what? I'm gonna make this connect real quick. Todd Grisham is part of the reason, former SmackDown announcer Todd Grisham is part of the reason why we're gonna get this game. And I'm looking forward to it. And I know they're still putting the polish on it. That's why I've been being patient. I need my boxing games looking fluid. I need them looking good. So yeah. I've been waiting for this. I'm hyped. I cannot wait to see who else they have signed. We're getting some more questions in here.
Years in the making, bro.
Yo, y'all need to stop talking. And they said Cardona can get some Tic Tacs. You better knock it off. He's like, he ain't Cody. He ain't getting all that. Mountie, what is going on?
My brother.
First guest.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I can't wait to cop some merch. It'll be here soon. Save your pennies up. Cardona's like, I get my own music. Like, don't you got a figure Beth waiting for you at home? By the way, did you guys see Joe Hendry's video of him on Impact? Did you see it, Sean? Please tell me you saw it on Twitter.
I saw it. I definitely saw it.
Joe Hendry's filed for that, bro, when he found them old pictures of him.
Hilarious. Oh my god.
What about RJJ versus Anthony Pettis?
Big fight. I think it's a statement fight, Joel. I think it's a statement fight for both guys. You got to be aware of the ramifications from a career standpoint for both. I think either one loses. I think they fall right off the radar. I think whoever sends, I know that sounds pretty cliche, but this is really like a do or die for both guys, and I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Who just announced a retirement? Was it Fedor?
Yes.
Yeah, he just announced his retirement too. Probably should have done it sooner, but I understand. Masvidal has a big boxing card coming April 1st as well.
He does. You got to look out for that as well, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful about being this continued crossover kind of thing that doesn't always pan out. Ryan Garcia, I hope I hope so too. The original plan, just to give you guys some insight, was April of this year. Actually, it was a double signing on Tank's part. Back in the month of January when he fought the other Garcia in January, and immediately signed to fight Ryan Garcia, which is the marquee fight in April. But unfortunately, there have been some hang-ups between Tank's team and De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions. Things haven't played out that well, similar to the way things haven't played out the way they should as it relates to Jamal Crawford, to Bud Crawford, and my guy Errol Spence Jr. Politics, money, it's a shame, but that's how it goes sometimes.
That's how boxing cards are made too. It always comes down to politics and money and how it's going to work. Yes. I saw that, Joel. Like that joint hurt bad to see that happen. And we're gonna do one more little loop around here. If you guys do want some boxing coverage, you guys can go to HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com. Links in the description below. Yes. He's got you covered for all YouTube podcasting when it comes to talking anything in the combat sports realm.
Yeah, appreciate.
Wrong way. This is the guy. This is the guy you want to speak to. Yeah. All right. Kota Ibushi, I have heard rumors that he does have a boxing match possibly coming up with Manny Pacquiao. I don't know if this is the move. I don't think this is the move.
It's not the move. And it's actually becoming a little bit annoying for me, bro. Like, as a boxing purist, as a boxing historian, it's just not right. Floyd Mayweather, let's call a spade a spade. Floyd Mayweather has set a really bad precedent. And I'm really surprised to see that Pac-Man is starting to follow in his footsteps. It's really setting a bad precedent. And I'm telling you, it's taking away from the quality of boxing.
I don't know if this is going to be a straight up boxing match or if this is going to be like some blood sport type deal where it's like whatever you do or whatever I do.
No fool. He's not going to do that.
I would hope not. Mountie says, I'm paying you in Canadian dollars only. It's my discount. Laugh Out Loud merch is awesome, though.
Nice.
Appreciate you, Mountie.
Brother.
Cray said, who are the boxers to watch for, though?
Errol Spence Jr., I think, is the best boxer in the world. People think that when I say that, I think Errol Spence Jr. is the best boxer in the world. Make sure you go to HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com. You can see my very, very detailed breakdown of the top 10 fighters in the world right now. Canelo's fallen off. Canelo's best days are behind him. Triple G's best days, unfortunately, are behind him. The fighter I would really look out for is, I know it's a little bit kind of cat out of the bag. Honestly, you gotta look out for Tank Davis. And when I say look out for him, obviously we already know that he's awesome. But when I say look out for Tank Davis, I mean look out for Tank Davis going down as the best fighter of this generation. Tank Davis is that guy. Remember I said that.
Yo, I love Joel's dropping some of his in the chat there. Usyk, yes, Bivol, yes. He's dropping great names. Liam Smith is on a resurgence. Yeah. He's dropping some great names. E had me laughing just a second ago, though. He said, Hub, this is boxing era is basically a Nokiism era. I don't know if you remember when Antonio Inoki at New Japan trying to have MMA fighters over.
He's right. And it's a shame because, like, it's funny, but it's also sad because it's like, even back then, though, what you're referencing was a little bit more entertaining than this. It's like, these are like not just exhibitions, silly exhibitions. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like the last time Mayweather had one of these fights, Mayweather played with the guy. It was like a YouTuber. It's like there's only been one YouTuber or two YouTubers that have really ascended to actual me saying, oh, they're pretty good fighters. And those are the Logan and the Paul brothers. But it's like even them, it's like this is going to be a big test, though. Now, on Fight TV internationally, Conrad, Paul is going to face Fury. The brother of the world champion. So that's going to be the first real test, I think. That's going to show the world if Jake Paul is for real. Jake Paul is going to be going up against Tyson Fury's brother in a very, very interesting fight.
Now, is he allowed to box? Because I heard something with like there was some. I don't want to use the improper terminology here. There was someone who was unfavorable that they were associated with, and I was told like boxing was kind of on hold for them. So I didn't know if that.
Right. I think they've jumped that hurdle though. I think they've overcome that hurdle. But I think that there's a situation with the visa. They're trying to work it out. I don't know if it's still pending, but we'll get more word on that too. Big shout out to Joel Arkin as well. Appreciate you, my brother.
I see what he's writing in there. I won't put it up just because I don't want to reveal anything. Or
we gotta get more details on that. But as soon as we do, we'll let you know. And I work very closely with these guys, so we'll figure it out.
Keep it locked to Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. Wednesday, me and Derek will have you covered for an AEW Dynamite review. Sean, as always, it is a blessing to do this show with you every week. This was our Jordan number 23. Hit that like button on your way out. Comments down below are always appreciated. Get us in the YouTube algorithm. And the best thing you could do is give us a good rating and tell a friend to check out Clash of the Podcast live every single Monday at 6:05. For myself and my tag partner, Sean Hubbard of HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com, we are out. One.
Peace, y'all.
Merch available February 27th.
Thank you, brother.